Howdy, ladies and gentlemen, gems and germs from all around the country, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. I see you mighty folk have come and stumbled upon the town of Tombstone and the story of Doc Holliday. Well, sit back in your seats, get your guns ready to sling, because this is the story of the Gunfighters. Yes, hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's Doctor Who review is none other than the Gunfighters, the very original Western story for Doctor Who, right back at the very beginning. So get ready, because this is a tale to behold. After escaping the clutches of the celestial toymaker, the Doctor, Dodo, and Stephen land in the town of Tombstone. That's right, and the Doctor has a toothache, all because he ate a sweet that the celestial toymaker left on his TARDIS console unit. So the Doctor goes in search of a dentist to pull his tooth out and pretty much help him out of all the aches and pains that he's in. But upon realizing the Doctor's in the Wild West, he suddenly realizes that getting rid of his tooth isn't going to be as easy as he hoped. There's not going to be any medicinal purposes except from the use of alcohol to soften the blow as they wrench his tooth out of his mouth. The Doctor then continues to go on and complain to the people of the town and his companions about how having his tooth out really hurts. Then soon he has bigger problems, as it turns out that a man named Doc Holloway, who was the one who pulled out his tooth, is using the Doctor as a decoy to escape the clutches of the law. Doc Holliday has a very bad past in this town, and of course Tombstone is getting ready to be his grave. And it turns out that Doc Holliday has a price on his head by a local gang, who are pretty much wanting him to pay the piper. But Holliday doesn't want to do this, and so the Doctor's friends get put in jeopardy as he gets accused of being Doc Holliday. Now, luckily for the Doctor, the sheriff of the town knows that he's not really Doc Holliday, but he knows that if he lets him out in the town, too much is going to go down and someone's going to swing. Stephen and Dodo are humiliated, and the only way to pretty much keep themselves in check is to pretty much sing in the local loon, in which they pretty much sing a bunch of songs that have been written and keep themselves alive a little bit longer. However, the Doctor and his friends are eventually freed from Tombstone and don't take long to decide to leave. But seems like the law is catching up on Doc Holloway, and a shootout begins in the street. After all, it is named the Gunfighters for a reason, and that's because one of the biggest brawls, one of the biggest shootouts happens in Tombstone. The Doctor, Dodo, and Stephen manage to get back to the TARDIS unscathed, but they do decide that they are never, if they can help it, going back to the wild, wild west. The Gunfighters is a very funny story, I've got to say, because for a very serious and determined story, it has some great comedic moments and a really good musical number with Stephen singing on the piano along with Dodo. The way that their relationship as like kind of mate/siblings plays off in this is so brilliant. I also love seeing the Doctor in jeopardy in this idea that he is being accused of being someone else. This is not the first time it's happened, however, and it definitely won't be the last. But it is one of the most iconic and well remembered in my mind episodes of one of the incarnations of the Doctor being accused of being someone he's not. Love the staging of the shootout, The shootout in general is brilliant. However, I do have one major down with this story. It's brilliant. It's set in the Wild West. It has some great overtones. However, one or two of the actors who play the American cowboys break their accent a few times. No ill intention on the actors, but it does kind of mess with the illusion of it being the Wild West. And for that reason, I have to mark this down. And overall, I'm going to give the Gunfighters at least a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Doctor Who review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible day.